Okay, we're back now. Your prophet just got wiped out. Did he die?
Yes, he died. He died. Before he came up, and one of the reasons we called him up, I went to the door there looking down the side at the tank and the infantry down there, and they opened up on me, but I was able to pull back. The bullets would hit the building and go on, no damage. But we had artillery, FO guy, Fort Observer, up with us, who called down artillery later. But he got a compression wound, not a shrapnel, but pressure from the shell, and he was screaming. He wasn't hurt, but there was another guy who had just laid flat, and we started to, after the action was over, we started carrying him back to the back, out onto that street road, and as a tanker, you don't know how much room you have on the road.
Yeah.
You just don't go. So we were carrying this guy, four of us, we were carrying him to the rear, and we were out there on this road, and I said, hey, if this fellow's dead, forgot his name, we better put him down. No sense of us exposing ourselves to the machine gun and tanking down there, carrying this guy if he's dead. So we laid him down and went out of our way, and subsequently the artillery guy, I don't know whether he called up Captain Prophet, but somebody did. Captain Prophet comes up, and I told you what happened to him. Then before that, did I mention that I was carrying part of a bazooka team at that time?
Yeah, I think you said you were
Okay,
right.
at that time, these were all pine shrubs covered with snow and everything, and I was the ammo bearer for the bazooka team at that time. The bazooka rounds were three, a triad of 3 bazookas on your back. So we launch off into these shrub forests on the way down to attack those guys, and they opened up on us, and the bullets were knocking snow off these snow-covered pines right up here. So I hit the ground, but you can't go down very far when you got 2 foot of snow under you.
Mm-hmm.
So I was lying there on that pile of snow trying to dig further down with 3 bazooka shells on my back, and snow being shot off. I was expecting really to be hit.
Do a little Midnight Charlie action on you. Well, you're not a plane. You know,
that
bazooka
was
rounds.
a different hazard.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Well, we laid the guy down on the way back. Our aid man was a little Japanese fella, Tojo. So I said, Tojo, test this fella and see if he's alive. If he's dead, no sense of us carrying him with a tank and a machine gun down there. So he determined that the fellow was dead. So we laid him down on the street, and then went on. The action went on, and later we were called back. So subsequently we heard from one of the recon people that a tank coming along, these were country roads and dipping off.
I'm
So-
sorry to interrupt. Did you need a ride up there?
Yeah, you getting ready to leave?
Yeah, I was.
No, we'll go ahead. I'll get Amy or leave.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See you guys.
Bye.
So you just didn't leave roads in the Orleans, any other place in country road where it's snow and icy, you stay on the road. And we had put this fella here, and subsequently we heard that a tanker coming up subsequently as support for us. That was one of the tank units assigned to the infantry division. So they were coming up, we were relieved, and subsequently we heard from some of them that the guy that we had laid down on the road the tanker couldn't go around him, so he went over him.
Hmm.
So it didn't leave much, whatever the tonnage is of some of the, I don't know what we had, Shermans at that time were primary weapon, tank weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was some other stuff all the way along the line, but,
Yeah, I will.
well, that's about all I can remember at the moment, John.
Where were you when they said the war's over? That would have been in April, so.
That was on the Elbe River. Some other interesting stuff. In Germany, here's the Rhine River and here's the Elbe River going east. So we had crossed the Rhine, I described, we went on with all of these ancillary actions to reach the Elbe River. And the Russians were on the other side coming to the Elbe River. So the two armies, the Allies and the Russians, met at the Elbe River. And what happened, the Germans on the other side, they had gained a terrible reputation with the Russians, killing them and torturing them, raping the women and all that sort of thing. So the Russians were coming, and thousands of prisoners were coming, ex-soldiers were coming this way. They were stopped at the Elbe River. They couldn't go any further. But there were a lot of small wooden boats along there that people had used for fishing and whatever. So what we would do, when the first load of Germans would come over, 4 or 5 of them, land on this side, we'd get rid of them except one. Then we'd send this guy back, go back and get another load. And then when he came back, he got to go. So we kept that up for a good part of a day, unloading German fugitives from the Russians. And
Would you
then-
guys turn them into POWs on your side?
Yes, yes. Another action before that, again, on either side of any river is a railroad track with the tunnels, and they had converted those into forts. And on our side, when our company attacked one of those forts, they would fire flares up. We were out in a big open area, I forget what they call it, just this side of the river. They would fire the flares up. We were out in the middle of that whole thing, exposed like everything, flares. And then a guy in our outfit named Renz, he was a former carnival guy. One of his acts was chewing glass. After the war, whenever we'd go into a village or wherever, he'd go and he'd drink anything that pour, and he'd sit down at the table and chew a piece of glass and grind it and swallow it. Well, anyway, on the Elbe River, he was ahead of me, and we were going along the river toward the fortress. And his flashlight, his back pocket, went off. Like a gun, but a flashlight. Reg, turn off that damn light.
Shining right at you, huh?
Yeah. It's like a blackout in
Yeah.
pre-war days when there were no lights. This guy's going trundling along with a flashlight back and forth. Well, we went up to the fort. The Germans had built a moat around it. And that was for their defensive position. We got in there, but in the meantime there had been artillery fire and mortar fire from both sides of the Elbe River, and there were a lot of dead Germans in the moat around there, so we had to walk on them. Couldn't help it, we were there. And when we got around the building and up into the courtyard, there were some crowds up there, and they threw potato mashers at that time. So I was hit by dirt and rocks and stuff, but no shrell. I didn't ask for Purple Heart. But anyway, one thing, they were coming, B Company was coming around this way, and I had them lined up. I was just getting ready to shoot them. and somebody said, hey, where's it up there? Where's A Company? That was my company. So just when I heard him